Hello YouTubers! At this point I suppose that everyone knows about the recent closure of the Dr. Craig video channel. In this video we'll have a look at what happened after that. I personally am amazed of the level of hatred directed against Dr. William Craig. We are talking here of ad hominem attacks and attempts to discredit his credibility as a professor, a philosopher and an author. Professor William Craig seems to become the obsession of several atheist shows and several YouTubers, the main YouTuber being Thunderfoot. Thunderfoot has started an entire campaign of hatred against Craig and also has developed an entire obsession against this man. Not surprisingly that this campaign of hatred gave results. First, the Dr. Craig video channel was apparently force flagged. Then a video of the Cartesian theist that was addressing Thunderfoot arguments against Craig was also flagged down. And now the William Lane Craig Wikipedia English page that presents the man's academic background and works is also flagged for deletion. Now all this seems to have some connection with this Thunderfoot campaign of hatred against Dr. Craig. First, the Dr. Craig YouTube channel was closed where everyone could find the original videos that Thunderfoot is criticizing. Secondly, the Cartesian theist video that gave a very good response to Thunderfoot objections. Third, the Dr. Craig English Wikipedia where everyone can find Dr. Craig credentials and works. And in the last few days we have this question that is on many theist lips and test messages, and basically the question is: where is DprJones? Where is Thunderfoot? Where are all the other champions of free speech? Why we don't see them waving their banner of free speech now? Why they're all so silent? Where are all these guys from the DMCA channel to tell us today that even if they disagree with what we are saying, they are prepared to die for our right to say it? Nowhere, but even worse, many atheists they receive with joy the termination of the Dr. Craig video channel. And why should that surprise anyone after all this campaign of hatred directed by Thunderfoot? All this campaign of hatred that Thunderfoot started from his apparent frustration that the man is better known as him.
That you can get a sane man to stand up in front of an auditorium at Oxford University, no less.
Now, as a political science graduate, I want today to talk a little about legitimation. Now, if you want to start a war, to invade someone's country, to take on his natural resources, the first thing what you need is a reason. Some reasonable, no? Now, if you want to start a hate campaign against a group of people, such as the Arabs, the Jews, the Americans, the first thing that you need is a reason, a motive. You don't just doing that because you're a hater, you're doing that because you have a good logical reason. And finally, the reason or the motivation chosen by the new atheists to legitimize their entire campaign of hatred against Dr. Craig was found in his interpretation on the killing of children from the Old Testament, a book who, by the way, many atheists consider to be fictional.
How can the same man who justifies that God has given children moral value, an inalienable right, justify their slaughter?
Now, the more difficult problem is the children. How could God command that the children be killed because these are innocent? And I think what I would want to say there is that God has the right to give and take life as he sees fit. Children die all the time, every day. People's lives are cut short. God is under no obligation whatsoever to prolong anyone's life another second. So he has the right to give and take life as he chooses. Moreover, if you believe, as I do, in the salvation of infants or children who die, what that meant was that the death of these children meant their salvation. They were the recipients of an infinite good as a result of their earthly phase of life being terminated.
You know, this is the obscenity of religion, that you can get a sane man to stand up in front of an auditorium at Oxford University, no less.
My name's Robbie Strachan. I'm the president of the Christian Union here at Oxford University. And it is a delight to be joined this evening by William Lane Craig.
And justify that children being butchered at the end of the sword, no doubt begging for their lives, was actually good, God-believing men, showing that they have every reason to treasure people as ends in themselves.
Now I'm just wondering, dear atheist, if Richard Dawson would provide his own moral reason for killing babies today, would he deserve a similar hate campaign? Please, just think about it for a few seconds.
If a baby was 1 year old and turned out to have some horrible, incurable disease that meant it was going to die in agony in later life, what about infanticide? Strictly morally, I can see no objection to that at all. I would be in favour of infanticide. 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 Strictly morally,